Let me check.
What?
Oh no, I hit the button. I'm just checking to see if it's actually up. Because it won't let me close anything. Alright, let me close some stuff, because... Ooh. Hold on. Ooh.
It's alright. I'm gonna hold it for ever. Not because you just.
Yeah. Let me go to the... Okay, let me mute this real quick. Hold on, because that's not gonna be good. At least while I figure this out. Let me make sure. Okay, let me... see some stuff. Alright, I'm making sure. Bro, what the fuck? Did it just spike back up? Oh, I guess that's why, because it was on the other one. I'm like, what the hell? Alright. I'm still gonna have to check on my phone really quickly to make sure. Just to kind of see what we got. And my phone keeps fucking alerting. Okay. Okay, looks good right now. Looks good. Okay, looks good. Um... Actually, that Margarita is one of those. He'll say with less pay. I'm weak as a bitch. With less pay. That's comedy. Okay. No, like whether it's preview up or not, is still gonna do it. Gotta see if there's anything else I can look up. Let's exit. Quit. Actually, 1 second. I'm gonna figure something out. So I can just start it. I can just end it and restart it real quick. I just gotta tweak this one setting because I think it's probably why it's lagging, but I'll figure it out. All right, that probably should be a little bit better. A little bit better. Boom. Lower this volume in my ears.
Alright, I did my midnight routine as quick as humanly possible.
Oh, here we go. I had to change some shit anyway. I had it in 60 frames and my shit almost blew up. But yeah. I'm sorry. I'm make sure everything's good. But well, I guess in the meantime, what's good, everybody? This is a later one, so I mean, obviously, if people aren't, people are busy and whatnot, completely understandable. Did not get to do SmackDown this week, and at least from what I'm hearing, I don't know. I don't know if like watching it matters at this point because I've heard about the show, so it may not be as it might not be what people usually get from like us reacting to it because I didn't watch it. I overslept. So at least this week there probably won't be one or anything related to it. I mean, obviously we can probably spin back to it. I'll probably watch it over the weekend, and then next week we'll bring it up. But at least this week, nothing really of the sort because next week their pay per view is Backlash. But as far as
Yeah, it's a go home show next week, so Scene is going to be on.
yeah,
At least there should be more of note. This was wow.
I mean, are they
Me?
from that? Are they different from that point? Because like, I'm not gonna like. I mean, obviously from like what happened after or what happened before. I mean, they probably didn't even have that much time to put input into it because like, they already cut like broadcasters. I think earlier this week because I think the dude from the bump, Ryan Popola, I believe, he had been there for like a decade, and a bunch of like the broadcasters got cut. So I think the focus this week might have been budget cuts after Monday. Monday and Tuesday, essentially. So that's probably the only out I'm gonna give them as far as maybe they were cutting people and they just got like, oh, we gotta do SmackDown tonight, and they might have not had enough time. Like I said, I didn't watch it though, so maybe it might change by the time you hear from me next week. Um, but aside from that, obviously, pretty sure if you're on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, mainly Twitter because that's really where it is. The releases have went down. The budget cuts have happened for the superstars at least, and
Well, at least a round of them. We don't know. There could be a lot more.
yeah, I mean, yeah, at least right now, like there's still probably some that will probably be released later in the day, and if there are more releases, then I mean, shoot, we can probably spin the block because right now they did release at least a good 8, maybe 10 at the current moment.
Um,
Two,
yeah, something
four,
like that.
6,
10,
8,
12.
10, 12. Yeah, 14. They released 14 people so far. Yeah, so 14 people have been cut. If anything, we're gonna just run down at least like the people that did get cut, some of the opinions that we might have on like if it was valid, if it was warranted, and then overall just kind of. I mean, maybe like the idea of why maybe they got cut. Like, I don't really know how to like attack a topic like this because it's always very much finicky when it comes to people losing their jobs, especially when it comes to WWE. When some people work their entire life to get there, and then they kind of just get a little cut to they cut to the wayside due to either maybe they don't have any booking plans for them or they didn't know how to use them, or in one case for one of them on this list they kind of started off hot and then just for some reason nothing of the sort went right for them after a certain feud that I'm gonna get to in a second.
Yep.
But yeah. Before we even get into anything, if you do come across this later in the day or even while we're doing it, leave a like on the stream or the video. Really helps us a lot. Helps us grow in the algorithm. Comment what you guys think about the releases. If there's anybody that got released in this pool that you really liked, um, you can let us know. And I just seen another name on this list. I got to be pissed off. I'm going to get to it in a second. Um, at least if this is confirmed. I don't know if it's confirmed fully, but if this is released too, I don't know what they're doing. And also subscribe because we hit 300. I wish we could have addressed it during a live stream, but we are at 300. We greatly appreciate all 300 of you guys for subscribing. Um, like we said, 500 and beyond, 500 to infinity. That is the plan.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, guess we can just get right into it. Sorry if you guys see my knees because I am trying to put on a pair of socks. First time having
Hey, well, you know what? On a side note, I'm wearing a tighter T-shirt than usual. So,
yeah, hey,
I'm not gonna lie, old man looking kind of muscly tonight. I'm not hating it.
tight shit, tight.
I mean, look at that. Look at that.
got
See?
the got the guns. Hold on.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that forearm, baby. Let's go. I know it's not gonna sway Terry because
Yeah.
but for everybody else.
That's for anybody else that wants the guns. You feel me? Like, but yeah, let's get right into it. I did see a updated list as of 4 minutes ago. For the full list of people. So we're gonna start from the top and then work our way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shayna Baszler. Oh, also by the way, I forgot. If you didn't watch the video earlier, obviously I am Percy, PTP. That is G. Tone.
Yeah,
Tone could be a good nickname.
What? Tony Tone?
Yeah, like Tone.
I've heard that before.
That's a good one.
Yeah, when they were hot, I was called that quite a bit. Tony.
Yeah. But yeah, and so let's start with Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades. Just kind of a rundown, I guess, of her WWE run from what I can remember. She came in during the Mae Young Classic, was in the finals, lost to Kairi Sane, had a really good run in the tournament. To be honest, had like a lot of potential with Ronda Rousey being there, of course, but obviously she had some wrestling acumen. Was in NXT, had a similar run to Asuka. She was undefeated for a little over a year. Held NXT Gold. Um, Main roster, she came in, had some really weird moments. At one point, she was like a vampire. If anybody remembers her biting Becky and having blood all over her face
Yeah, yeah.
during, I think it was
I
pandemic.
tried to forget that.
Yeah, like she had a very few questionable moments, but as far as how she came in initially, it was like similar booking. She was a powerhouse, dangerous submission skills. She broke a couple arms. But then after a while, it kind of fizzled down. She started doing tag team work with Nia Jax, which wasn't really like it wasn't really bad. It was just kind of like random. Like, why are these two teaming together? Turned on her eventually after that, and then she was in the Pure Fusion Collective with Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville until Sonya got released. But as the inevitable happens, somebody else from that group gets cut. And Zoe Stark, as sad as it sounds, probably isn't too far behind her.
Probably. I mean, and Shayna's also, I think, 44.
Yeah, she is up there if they're doing it from an age perspective,
And
but
it's a shame. It's a shame because, like, the most noteworthy thing she did on the main roster was work with Ronda on Ronda's way out.
oh yeah, because that was like they could have really had a face Baszler for a little bit of time, because at that time no one liked Ronda Rousey. So at that point,
Because see,
yeah,
they were kind of shooting a little bit, even though they're like besties. They were shooting a little bit. Their match was kind of shoot MMA ish style,
yeah,
and
I think it
like,
was MMA rules, yeah,
and Shayna looked really good, even though Ronda's her friend and was going to put her over on the way out or whatever it is. They did nothing with it, and they could have,
yeah,
and that's probably the best they did with her on the main roster. Was that
yeah. It was
and
very
nothing?
yeah, it was very unfortunate, really, because I mean I don't even think she won. Did she win a world title on the main roster? I don't think she did.
Not that I think I remember. No,
Yeah, it's like the only thing I can think about is from an age perspective, but even then, like she's been doing Bloodsport for the past 2 years, and she's been killing it in Bloodsport. So it's like,
I guess. Well, I guess in terms of like long term, like we don't even know. Like, is there like a contract thing, like or contract's not far from being done, so it's like just cut her now.
yeah, it could be one of those two. But I mean, at least I think for some of these people, I mean, at least in maybe a couple cases, they've been there for at least maybe a couple years anyway. So if they were re-upped, we just probably wouldn't have known. But yeah, it's like in the case of like
It's
a
just a
Shayna Baszler,
protein. It's just a protein shake. People, relax. I'm not. This motion is not suspect.
Rosity juice and
It's just protein. It's just protein. It's just a protein shake. That's all. It's just the motion I was doing. Don't. Well, it's not get all suspect here, people.
yeah. But at least in this case, if we had to like probably say like whether or not on a hierarchy of like pissed off to understandable, I'd probably say
Understand?
it's understandable, kind of in the middle. I mean, we obviously know Shayna is good. Like it's not like we're gonna sit here and be like, oh, Shayna got washed or whatever. She just started wearing pants randomly, which I don't know if that was a sign of age too. Like I mean, she wasn't wearing tights anymore. Like,
I wouldn't think. So. I wouldn't think so.
yeah,
No.
like she was wrestling in pants and the shirt. Dusty Road street fight vibe. No tape, just hands. I mean, obviously, I hope these people land on their feet. I mean, Shayna obviously, she's very funny too. Obviously, her comedic timing is way better than people give her credit for. She is going to be fine. I don't think there's gonna be a situation where she's gonna struggle to find work. Period. If she still wants to wrestle.
Right.
Um, but even then, like her Instagram, her TikToks, if you see her TikToks and everything like that, she is hilarious. She's always somehow randomly in the room while the other women were doing like TikToks and just like being able to like look disgusted. It's a natural thing for her to just kind of be like that nonchalant. Who knows? She might do stuff with Dakota. I think they live together, or they did live together at some point. So
I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me if she did a little run in Japan. She could definitely do that.
yeah, because she was there
Yeah.
before. So I mean, if she goes back to Stardom, um, I think Rossi has a new company called Marigold. They just got Mayu Iwatani. So I mean, if they want to have some, if she wants to have a strong style run, I could definitely see that. Stardom would definitely they would probably love to
For
have
a
her
little
back.
bit, sure. I mean, I doubt she. Look, I at her, especially at her age,
Yeah,
anybody losing their job is of course unfortunately a bad thing. But I highly doubt, considering her career before WWE and how long she's been in WWE, I think she's okay.
Yeah, and she'll
And
probably
and
she could live stream. She could probably do a couple things, play some games.
plenty of stuff. Like I said, she could go to Japan
Yeah, who knows?
and
She go to Impact. You know,
possibly.
they just got indie. No pun intended, but I mean, you know. So I mean, and of course it's gonna be like it's probably gonna be a normal occurrence to be like, oh, they can go to Impact. But I mean, realistically, I mean, it's a company that I mean, even though they're tied to WWE now, they can still really do what they want. I mean, most of their talent works indie shows still. They can do what they want. So it's not like oh, TKO adjacent, TKO light. I mean, Impact still has to book them. So keeping that in mind, I see somebody saying like, oh, having them go to a company that still works with them for less pay is kind of crazy. I mean, you're still on TV. And if you want to continue wrestling, if they wanted to do that, I mean, Impact isn't a bad location to wrestle. So I mean, that in itself, I mean, yeah. But speaking of Dakota Kai right after that, in my opinion, also on the older side, she is
37.
yeah, 37, a little bit younger than Shayna, I believe. Well, a little bit younger, well, obviously, but a little bit younger than Shayna. But she is
I
definitely one of the
was
ones they
kind of
missed out on.
surprised. I was kind of surprised when I heard that she was 37. I'm like, she's
She doesn't
37.
look like it exactly. She is a very youthful 37.
I would have thought 27, not 37.
Man, like that means when she got there, she was probably like early 30s, maybe like 29, 28, maybe.
Must
Man,
have.
like she's very youthful for her age for sure. But a little bit of everything. I'll run down a little bit. Mae Young Classic also. I think she lost to Tegan due to like injury or something. I think she got injured during the Mae Young Classic, the inaugural. Her run was kind of finicky because I don't really think they knew really how to like really book her for real. But
Well, she had injuries too.
yeah, like injuries really got in her way a lot. But I mean NXT, she had like a couple good moments in her career, like her feud with Shayna, where she was kind of like overcoming the mental aspect of her arm being broken. That was good. Her little heel run with Raquel Rodriguez, her feud with Tegan, she had a couple of good moments. She had some stuff with Io before they eventually became Damage Control. Um, really with her, it's just like an injury thing. Like injuries definitely got in her way a lot. Knee injury specifically, I believe. Um, but when she was there, she was solid. Her work was good. Her promo work was solid. In the ring, obviously, we know what she's capable of. Like Team Kick, if when she was Evie, she's really good in the ring. It's just the injuries were a concern. But whenever she was probably like fully healthy to do what she wanted to do, they never had her on TV. Like recently, um, she's been healthy, and I think her last match was main event.
Yeah,
Yeah, her last match
and
was main event.
They're so super loaded with top. They're so super loaded with top. Yeah, like their women's division is so super loaded right now.
I mean, even if it's lower, I mean, like
I mean,
with them adding mid card titles, it's like that would have been the perfect opportunity for you to like at least let her shine with the U.S. title, the IC title, one of those titles. Because I mean, she was worthy of a title run. Granted, Lyra ended up winning, but at some point Dakota Kai could have held that
well,
IC title.
you would have thought given like the way they initiated the belt, she was involved in it. Yeah,
Exactly. Like she was at the forefront of the tournament when it initially started. Like it was like, oh, it's Dakota and Lyra, neck and neck for who would win the title first. Ended up being Lyra, of course, but
well, yeah, she was in the final.
yeah, like like she was basically like almost like this is gonna be a title that she can be synonymous with until you maybe want to give her that world title run, which I mean I feel like she could have been worthy of it, in my honest opinion. But her being released after her tweet saying, I've been healthy, I'm just not on TV, I've kind of been benched. The company probably wasn't liking that for her kind of pointing that out.
No,
Could be a mutual agreement.
didn't help
Like,
Kate.
yeah, I think it might be a mutual one. Cause I mean, if she was on the sideline without like being giving anything,
It could be.
yeah. But
Again, like I said, the contract situation could play into some of these because if the contracts are don't have a lot of time left. It's kind of like they're not going to use them. Just like cut them
Yeah,
loose
yeah. Like if it's not
because
like that much money.
get paid. They're going to get paid. So
Yeah, like 'cause they're
it's
all gonna have
fine.
a 90-day period. So at least some of them probably got a
Yeah.
90-day.
Well,
At least
NXT's not.
yeah, NXT does
NXT's
have
not.
90 days. Yeah, but but yeah, as far as
Isn't NXT 30? Isn't NXT 30?
I think NXT might be 30. It's either 30 or not at all. Because some people leave NXT and just work it immediately.
Well, that's probably just
What big names?
probably a different situation. But I think in general, I think NXT's 30.
Yeah, but I mean, at least as far as Dakota, I mean, another one that can go to Japan. She was already in Japan at some point. Ironically enough, her and Stardom would be good. I'm trying my best not to say AEW here because I feel like AEW doesn't really fit her.
I think she. I think Dakota's a much better TNA fit.
Oh yeah, of course. Like shoot, like the Zia Lee's. That's I think it's Wei Lee or Lee. I don't know her TNA name, bro. I have a tongue twister every time I try to say it. I know it ends in Yang, but I can't get past the first two, and it eats me up every time. Like I can't get past it. But yeah, Zia Lee's there. Tasha Steele. If people know who that is, Tasha Steele is good.
Yeah.
Dana Brooke is there. Giselle Shaw. The division definitely does need somebody that they could probably put a belt on outside of Masha and Tessa. Even though that name is very frowned upon in the world of
Yes.
wrestling right now for valid reasons. But I mean, outside of those two, they probably might have to take like a Shayna or a Dakota. Hell, there's probably somebody else on this list that definitely could probably work there due to their marital status. But like realistically, TNA would be a good place for her. Or
Yeah.
or Japan. Like Japan for sure, definitely. I feel like would fit her for sure. Uh, just very unfortunate though, because this is one that's like kind of shocking in a way, but also based off that tweets. Once you call them out, usually they don't like it. Oh, cat cameo.
Really, Amy? You
Yeah,
want you really?
shout out to Avy one time. That's like the first time. That's the first time Avy had him come in there. That's crazy.
12:30 in the morning, and her Royal Highness has to decide, like, oh, can I play? Okay, go away. Go on. Go eat something, or jump on the bed.
But next up we got Braun Strowman. Don't really have to do much of a rundown for him. I mean, if you've been watching the company, you know Braun's ride on the company roller coaster.
That's got to be
Uh,
that has to be contract. I mean, I said it before when we were like running down the show,
right.
like he was just recently featured
Yeah, had a last man standing match on Mania weekend.
and doing like that little mini feud with Jacob,
Yeah,
and it's
well, not
like
on Mania weekend, but the week. Was it
just
Mania weekend or the week
and I
before?
know
I
he
think it was
does
the week
all
before.
the like promotion work and he does all the ambassador stuff. Like he's all
Yeah,
good with that. The stuff with the kids is it seems way random as fuck to let him go now. After
yeah,
that, that's got to be a contract thing. It has to be.
yeah.
I don't
Because
see
because
another
because
valid.
Braun's on the older side too. I think like Braun's 40-ish. I think 40-ish.
Yeah, but
Yeah, 41.
still, and I know his knees are bad, but like I said, he does a lot of work for them. You could have kept him on like doing stuff like that,
Yeah,
and like I
like a
said,
Titus O'Neil thing.
he was just featured. Like I said, he was just featured in and I would say fairly major, set of
Yeah,
matches with Jacob. Like this has to be a contract thing. I don't see any other
yeah,
reason why they would just randomly dump him now,
yeah.
other
It
than
could
that.
it could be a restructure maybe. Because I know sometimes guys get cut and they restructure their contracts to where it's like it's a more like sizable money deal. But Braun definitely there's really not really much of note. I mean he's been released before from a budget cut situation and it was shocking before, but now it's kind of like oh well if you got released once they'll spin the block again. As cliche as that sounds, but for his status on the card, like you said, like it's very much like odd the timing of it. he's not really gonna go to no other major company because he shits on all of them. Like, to be honest, I think he shit on AEW. He didn't like the Indies, but still ended up working the Indies the first time he got released. He didn't really get much notable work, which is reasonable because I mean, if you're shitting on the Indies because you're signed to the WWE, once you're
And
released,
he probably overcharged shit out of him just even.
oh yeah, like just because he's probably one of them guys that, like, no offense to him, but I feel like he's one of them guys where he's like, oh well, because I have WWE next to my name, I deserve top dollar, and who's gonna book that? Not many are gonna be able to book that. So.
No. I think he pretty much. I thought he had said at some point, not like yesterday, but recently, that like when this was done, he was done. So
Yeah, which would be fair for him. I mean, he's done a lot of work. I mean, he has memorable moments. He flipped the ATV. His moments with Michael Cole. Uh, he won tag team titles with a child. I think it was John Cone's son, if I have to remember correctly.
but like I just still think like the ambassadorship thing, like
Yeah,
bring him back, or I like I said, I just this has to be a contract. Like I said, it has to be a contract thing. It's way too damn random.
yeah. But I mean, if that is his last run, then I mean, like we said, kudos to him. I mean, he's done a lot in his time there. Was a part of the Wyatt family, of course. That was very much, really, really, kind of what put him on the map in the beginning stages. So.
Yeah.
He's gonna be forever grateful to the company, which is understandable based off of what they've done for him and maybe his family over the years. Yeah, so.
I mean, props to him. Like humble farm kid turned into pro wrestler, and to be quite honest with you, he was kind of ass when he first started, but he wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just couldn't move as quickly as he did because his knees were shot. But like,
Yeah.
he wasn't half bad.
Yeah. In the beginning, he used to cook. Like, wait 1 second. Dakota being released makes sense since she was very injury prone. Yeah. But what's good, Nazi? What's good? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, like we got to talk about it earlier. Yeah, like her being released definitely from an injury perspective, it made sense for sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. What's after that? Kind of like a two for one.
It's gotta be a combination of injury and contract. It's gotta be a combination of injury and contract, and then the final straw was probably like they were probably like doing one of these like should we, and then well maybe not, but like there could have been a little bit of contract, and like they were do we don't we. The injury thing was probably a concern, so maybe if they talk contract, they lowballed her on it because of the injury, and then she just kind of started getting a little mouthy about it, which is her right. I'm not saying she's wrong
Fair
for
assessment.
it, but she started getting a little bit like uppity about the whole thing publicly, and then that was just like, all right, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it kind of helped us make the decision, right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just right or wrong. It just kind of like put them over the top. It was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut.
Yeah. But yeah. Once again, should be interesting to see where Braun goes. Like you said, if it's the end of the line for him, then I mean, he's had a good time. He's had a good time. Yeah. Like next up, tag team. Yeah.
He could do. I mean, he could do TNA or AEW. Even briefly.
I don't think they'll want him.
I don't know. Even briefly, with like the limited schedule.
I mean, cause like they already kind of have like, not completely, but they have kind of like Braun adjacent and like maybe Satnam, like a big guy that really can't move. So I mean, it kind of depends on like what they would want. I mean, I can see him doing NWA before I see him doing AEW. Because he did work with EC3 before he came back with that control your narrative stuff. He could be a heavy for EC3.
MLW, maybe.
Oh, yeah, MLW would definitely probably want him.
Well, yeah, because what do they once a month?
Yeah, something like that. Him and Cruel might be a banger feud. Like,
him and Cruel.
Like, because that's basically like a big monster type of feud. Another thing, but him and Kruger probably would go nutty. Plus Enzo worked there too.
And Riddle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was cool with Riddle for a little bit.
Low-key, MLW's got a nice roster.
Low key, like a
They got,
sneaky one.
yeah, they got a sneaky good roster.
Yeah, Tom Lawler. They got some guys. Braun at least put over Bronson before he left. That was a banger feud. Oh yeah, for sure. That the matches they had were any type of monster feud they gave Braun, he never really failed in those roles, which I feel was one of the better roles for him to have.
Well, like I said, even at the end with Jacob, like
Yeah,
that was
like
good.
like monster versus werewolf. Just throw him in there with a big guy that can move, and they'll put on some
Yeah,
magic.
yeah, he was fine. He was totally fine. And obviously, like I said, with the knees, and he couldn't move as quickly. So, like him trying to charge, it
Oh yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
a little bit. It was a little cringe, but like
The Runaway
it was
Twain
totally
definitely had some
fine.
loose swings.
That didn't suck at all. Braun and
Yeah,
Jacob didn't suck at all.
yeah.
It was
Also, Nazi,
random,
thanks for the
but it
sub.
wasn't. It was like okay,
Yeah, thank you for the sub, by the way. I just seen that. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Once again, for anybody else that comes through, if you're liking the stream, leave a like. Try to get at least 5. Try to get 5 at some point during this broadcasting. Um, yeah, what's next? Oh yeah, Caden Carter and Katana Chance. They were just never given an opportunity. If I'm being completely honest with you, at some point the
no.
tag team titles should have been. I mean, they were tag team champions. I get it, but I feel like low key, Caden Carter is good. Like I don't care about the sample size. Caden Carter is good. Katana Chance is pretty much one of the more athletic women on the roster that they had, and for them to not be kind of like, this might sound crazy, but they could have been the female London and Kendrick. They just, but just dancing. Like, is that too crazy to say?
What?
Like that Carter and Chance could have been like the female London and Kendrick.
I don't know if it's crazy.
Cause I feel like they definitely were like they when they were in the ring they weren't bad. They weren't bad at all.
They no, yeah, they don't care. They don't care about the tag division, and they need to or dump the damn belts because I'm kind of over it.
Yeah. Cause even then, like, yeah, cause like right after that, I'm gonna get to it. Cause I mean, it's another one that kind of like related to tag team wrestling. It's like after Stand and Deliver, where you have women putting on bangers, two of the best matches of that weekend, and even WrestleMania for night 2, the triple threat match that started the show was probably one of the best matches on the card. Not Bianca, Jade and Naomi even had a sizable match. Were they night 1? I can't remember.
What?
Bianca, not Bianca. I keep saying Bianca. Jade and Naomi. I think they were night 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like as far as like from Stand and Deliver, like some of the best matches of that week from WWE's perspective were women, and it's like if we're going off of like people wanting like Evolution Part 2 or Part 3 really, I think they've done 2 from my memory if they serve me correct. I think they've done 2. I could be tweaking, but I mean with all the women they have, it's like what's the point of like I said, what's the point of having tag belts if you're not gonna like stack up on tag teams and use the actual tag teams you have. Like, as cringe as it'll sound, they
Especially,
lost.
especially since they were a legit tag team. It wasn't like
Yeah, they had like 3 years worth of tag work together. you know, and it's like I mean they lost Mercedes. As cringe as it'll sound, they lost Mercedes because they didn't value the tag team championships. Like that.
yeah.
That's how detrimental the belts are. Because it's like, why are you giving them belts that you don't care about? It's kind of it's really finicky at that point. Like, why do we have belts that we don't? It's like 24/7. R-Truth always had that belt. They always found a way to put R-Truth on TV, and I love R-Truth. Don't get me wrong, I love
Man,
Truth, but I don't know.
you really had to go there, huh?
No, I'm saying, I mean respectfully, like I love Truth, but it's like he's comedy relief at this point. And he's always
No,
on television.
not about truth. Not about truth. I literally had forgotten about the goddamn 24/7 title and you didn't bring
Oh,
it
it's
up.
24/7.
Not about truth. Not about
Yeah,
truth.
I'm
I
not
love
Truth
Ron
either.
Killings. Ron Killings can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
But
K Quick the GOAT. But yeah. I think we'll put the nail in the coffin. Oh, I think we'll put the nail in the releases of Sonya and Shayna with how PFC was randomly thrown together and booked to lose constantly. That is definitely a very good point. Like they were jumping people for no reason. they weren't winning.
Yeah, jobbing out. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Although
yeah.
Zoe, there was a brief spark. It looked like Zoe was going to come out of that okay, but
yeah, or even then, it's like if I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of, let's say hypothetically, hello, my friend. Hypothetically, Sonya Deville should have been a world champion. If they were gonna make a group and have her spearhead it, you could have gave her a championship.
yes.
Because there would be no other reason why Sonya would be so comfortable in WWE's eyes to lead a group if you weren't seeing her as championship material. So for me, it was one of those things where if neither of them were going to win gold in any way, shape, or form, and it's like they were a shoot group. They all know MMA, I think. Like Zoe has a little bit of work, you know. Of course, Shayna and Sonya, you know, they do kickboxing and submission work and stuff like that. I mean,
Oh no, so Sonya surprisingly never did. She probably should have.
yeah,
She was definitely good enough to.
yeah. If we're going off of like who should have won a world title first between her and Mandy, it definitely would have. It definitely should have been her.
Yeah.
Even though Mandy did get better, I'm not gonna take anything away from her because Mandy did get better when she won the NXT Championship. But if we were taking bets, like Sonya should have been champion way before Mandy. But
I think obviously NXT was Mandy's best work. It's just a shame.
oh yeah, they just played to her assets. Right. She looked good and she had a good knee. that was like her best asset.
Okay. The problem is she was displaying her assets without permission. That's
she was doing it on the side, and once they find out,
the old regime wasn't okay with that kind of shit. Now the new regime, I don't think they care.
Well, I think they don't care about streaming. Yeah, I don't think they care about streaming.
No, I don't think they care about like private sites and stuff like that. Because for the most part, they don't do like sex, so I don't think they care about that now.
Yeah, I don't think they care about the racy stuff.
The thing before was, I think the bigger part of it was like doing those kind of things. WWE wanted a cut of it, not even so much that they were doing it. WWE and Vince wanted a cut of the money they made outside of the company because they were using the company as a platform to make more money on the side, which was completely fucking ridiculous. But
what a freaky frog.
But yeah, but that's basically what it was. It's I don't even think like doing like OnlyFans and stuff because like Zelina was doing like cosplay and shit.
Yeah.
And like I said, and you know, Xavier, although you know he had that sex tape thing.
We just had to run it.
But up down is huge, and he wanted a piece of the money, not so much that they were doing shit.
Yeah. I think they own it now though, so I mean he got what they wanted. At least I think they own it.
What, they own up, down?
Yeah, or like either they own it or they own like a part of it, like a percentage of it. For bargaining reasons, I guess.
Then Xavier Woods is set for life because I'm sure they paid well for that.
Oh, for sure. Even the gaming stuff, like if Woods was to just retire right now and they just brought him in for like the gaming stuff, he'd be set. He would definitely be set.
Yeah, he's set.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. What's the next one? Gigi Dolan. This makes no sense. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
She's just on TV. Didn't they just show her in the front row of Raw?
She was just on Stand and Deliver. Now, mind you, I'm gonna rattle off her last 2 weeks, right? And you tell me if this makes any sense, right? She was on Stand and Deliver, right?
Yep.
And she won. Granted, she probably shouldn't have, because I mean, the Meta Girls were right there, but she won at Stand and Deliver in a great match, fatal 4-way tag team match. She was on Raw the next week, like you said, or the next day, or 2 weeks,
in the front row.
Yeah, front row with Tatum to show, hey, we're competing on Tuesday. They competed on Tuesday. Another banger with Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, she's got Yeah, she has the ability and the look, and
Like, it's like, bro, I
I
have
don't get it.
I don't know why. And she had,
I don't get
and
it.
mind you, GTA got, now mind you, GT wasn't bad. In the beginning, she was a little sloppy. I think it might just be because some other reasons that I'm not gonna talk about because I'm not. Even though it is 12 something, it ain't Gooner hours. I ain't finna get into all that, but we all know why she was probably moving a little bit slower in the beginning. You know, what a ta. But I will say this: she got a lot better.
Uh,
Yeah, she was
worked worked on.
yeah, she was dragging something, and it wasn't JC Jane. I'll tell you that much. But yeah. But I mean, she got better. Got in good wrestling shape. Her and Tatum were a very good pair. Even the two of them with Shotzi. Their whole gimmick was just being freaky. And I'm not even trying to like make a joke here. Like that, they literally called themselves the freakiest tag team in the WWE. Like that was their words, not mine. But but I mean,
Shotzi's next. Shotzi's next.
it depends on what they do with Scarlett. If Scarlett and Carrion walk, Shotzi leaves because they're probably a package deal at this point because they do so much stuff together. If I see Scarlett leave, I would expect Shotzi to be right afterwards.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, and I mean, obviously in her case, oh, I forgot we didn't think about it for Carter and Chance. They definitely should go to Japan. They would get so much better in Japan.
I
I
don't.
almost yeah
I don't get. I don't get. I don't really get that one.
yeah forgot about that part.
'Cause
But
I was literally calling. I literally like a month ago was calling like them being on the main roster with Naomi as a group, and they're gone. Like that's just disheartening.
wait
The
wait
potential was there.
breaking. Yeah, you got it, bro. Um, yeah, you got it. I don't know if he's trolling or not, and I don't want to look it up.
No. Of course he's trolling. That shit
Yeah,
ain't happening.
yeah. I'm saying. I mean, at this point, I'm not putting shit past anybody at this point.
Nah, hell no, hell
uh,
no, no.
then
Dad,
again, I like
fuck
if the
that.
other if the other guy was in office, maybe. If the other guy, the VKM guy, but yeah, not now. Um, yeah. Aside from that, I mean, I feel like Dolan's probably going to Impact. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's married to Zachary Wentz, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Is
feasibly,
she?
yeah, I think so. Because she was with Darby, but obviously, that ended, and that was a whole controversial thing. But I think she's married to Wentz. So, if anything, Impact will probably be the first people to have the rights to get her. Plus, it would still give her a chance to work with Tatum and Shotzi if need be, because shout out to the motorcycles outside my house. Y'all don't hear them, but I mean, but yeah, yeah, it would give them a chance to still work together as a tag team. But in that case, Impact. I don't see AEW for obvious reasons. Um, More or less the same thing. A lot of these people can just probably go to Japan, or they had stints in Japan. They could work the American Indies for some people that probably came from there. But I mean, that's really all I can see for Gigi. I feel like she definitely can come back eventually later on. Like maybe this is like one of those like prove it type of releases, like a Drew McIntyre or even a Cody Rhodes, I guess, if you kind of want to put them in that same bracket where they get released, they prove themselves, they come back even better, they get the push they deserve, or they get the push they've earned. You know, I don't know. This could definitely be like a prove it release if I had to think of one.
Oh, just a quick little side note.
Right?
I just got a message from a subscriber, um, who says we are on the trending page right now.
Oh wait, what? Hold on.
At least on their end, we're trending.
Oh, hey, if that's the case, hey, if that's the case, hey, I like it. I like it a lot. Also, we're at 4 likes. I just checked. We're at 4 likes on the live stream currently. One more. We get 5. One more we can get the 5 likes that we want for the stream. So I mean, hey, if you're watching, you like the conversation. If you want to chime in yourself, obviously, we're reading comments as well. You know,
Yeah.
con, con
Sub button.
yeah, hit the sub button. Yeah, share it as well, actually, too. I
Right.
mean, even if it is like trending, or it might be on a trending part. You can share it with somebody else that probably has a feeling about these releases as well. Sorry, I'm trying to tie this robe real quick. Shout out to the bathrobe one time. But what we got next? We got Eddie Thorpe, another one that doesn't make sense because he was just competing for the NXT Championship a little over a month ago. They turned him heel recently. Formerly known as Carl Frederick, he worked in New Japan. Very, very solid in-ring worker. Don't really think they gave him a fair shake with the gimmick itself. No offense to, I mean, obviously what the gimmick meant and if that's actually like his lineage and whatnot. But I feel like the gimmick itself didn't really give him a fair shake because it's hard to get gimmicks like that over in this climate or in this type of landscape. If that makes sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but
It does.
yeah, his heel work was fine from what I was seeing. Like his mic work, obviously, he was always really good on the mic. He was never really allowed to. He just wasn't really a face. I don't think he's a face, to be honest. If I had to assume, them turning him heel was where he could shine a little bit more. And he
I
had
guess the
that.
question is like, I guess the question would be like, is on the men's side, like, is with Dark State now doing stuff and whatever,
Right.
and Hendrick could be coming anytime now. Like, unless there doesn't seem to be any sign of call ups, so if nobody's getting called up, like in the immediate future, like, is it just kind of a thing where like they're just overloaded and somebody's got to go? They
I
can't
feel
just
like
book it.
yeah.
They can't just.
I feel like it could be that because I mean I feel like we kind of always talk about the fact that they have a lot of talent in WWE. I feel like we all kind of know that at this point that they sign a lot of people, or if anything, some of their homegrown guys end up being better than some of the guys they sign. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. Um, but once they get so loaded at a certain like in a certain division, they kind of feel like they have to trim some of the fat, I guess so to speak. But it's I don't know. I feel like some of these are just like, they have to be either like, prove it releases or it has to be money related. Like there's no other reason that I could look at some of these and be like, "Oh, yeah, they had a valid reason to like well, outside of like maybe some injury people. But other than that, like there's not many reasons that I could look at them and be like, "Yeah, there's a reason that they should be cut." Especially where like the further you go down this list, a lot of these guys were literally on Evolve for the past like 4 weeks putting in work. Putting in work. Like, oh man. Just crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Black Friday basically.
Yeah. For the wrestling industry because boy did they drop
It
some
wasn't even
talent.
because it wasn't even like early this afternoon. It wasn't after the show.
It was at night
basically
before the show.
it was basically like right before the show. It was like, oh shit, the show's about to start, which probably might have, you know,
Could have
taken a little
distracted
sting
them.
off the fact that the show was buns anyway. But like,
But here's the
the
shock
talking
value.
point.
These guys got cut. You know?
Yep.
But but like where could you possibly see Gigi Dolan working? Like if like since she's got released. I feel like Impact maybe is like her number one option.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably Impact.
Yeah. Maybe little shot in the dark here because I mean some people do. I think Cedric is working there now or working a show upcoming. But if you guys know about DPW, Deadlock Pro, another indie promotion that puts on bangers. If Gigi Dolan goes to DPW, I wouldn't be mad about that either. Her and Danny Luna could probably put on some good matches. Because I think it's Danny Luna. Let me make sure I'm not saying a name from another place that I shouldn't be bringing up right now. Because I just be doing that sometimes. Let me make sure. Yep, I was right. Thank God. Eh, but all right. Let's after that. We got Javier Bernal. Uh, do you kind of want history about this guy? Because I feel like you probably might not have known about him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Cliff notes.
Yeah, just to kind of summarize it. Had the nickname of Big Body Javi. He worked to level up.
Okay, I've heard that. I've
Yeah,
heard that. So
yeah. Was working level up NXT. Came back from an injury recently, and was in Evolve trying to like he had like a little story of him trying to like find himself again. Find that spark. He had been losing, and I guess they ended up cutting him.
yeah,
It's an interesting situation for him because he could definitely be one of those guys that could be like a hidden gem essentially. Because I feel like his work wasn't like he was just reaching the surface, and the injury kind of sidelined him, and they tried to make it into a story, which I'm not mad at. But if he was to go to like Impact or just work the Indies, I feel like he could turn into a very very solid wrestler if he still wants to do this for a job. In my
I
opinion.
think that's probably. I mean, if that's the opinion, then that's probably the opinion. Is like, does he really have the passion?
Yeah, like depending on if his heart is still in it, which I mean, him fighting back from injury might answer that, depending on who you ask. But I mean, them putting him on Evolve, I mean, it showed that they still had some interest in what he was capable of and seeing what he could possibly do. And ironically enough, the two people he had matches with got released with him. So I mean, I'm very much confused. But I mean, hey, or two people that he had matches with recently got released with him. So,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Well,
that's yeah. Anyway, more or less for like Fabier, if he still wants to wrestle, which I feel like most of these guys end up doing, it definitely would be a thing where Impact, of course, NWA, uh, shoot, just the independents in general. A lot of guys find themselves just working the independents, so that could definitely be a case as well. Um, but yeah, that's probably all I gotta really put for Javier Bernal on his release and everything like that. Let me check something really quickly just to make sure we're check some stuff. All right, we're still Gucci, still Gucci. Um,
yeah.
right after that, what we got? What we got? We got yeah, this one, and I'm not gonna lie, I might have jinxed them. I'm trolling, but I might have jinxed it. We had the main man, Oral Mensa. I don't get this release, bro. I don't. I don't get it. But I had a feeling once they split the group up, like, pardon my French, they were gonna do some bullshit. Cause there was no outside of the fact that I mean Noam Dar is good. I get that. Noam Dar is exceptional. Supernova 11. He can go. He can talk. Like
Yeah,
Noam Dar is gonna be fine. Lash Legend has mic work, has the look, has the build. She's the bougie powerhouse. I think is her nickname.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, like lashing out. Like she's got marketable stuff, so I can see them keeping her as well. But it's like the other two were just like untapped potential to me. To a certain extent, they were untapped potential.
Oh yeah.
Cause like I'm not gonna lie, like I said the other day, even if you still haven't seen Oral Menta, wherever he goes next, follow that man because he is going to light up the independents. Or if he even goes to AEW, at this point, he's gonna light up wherever he goes. Cause that man, like his offense is like some of the like obviously there's a lot of unique offense in wrestling. There's some stuff that he does that I don't see anybody doing, or I have yet to see anybody else doing what he's doing. So that in itself says, at least, even though I'm not like Dave Meltzer or something, that says a lot to me. That I'm seeing new stuff in a world where wrestling is very much, not copy and paste, but it's very hard to be niche. It's very hard to be different in the landscape of wrestling these days. And he's found a way to do that. with a move set that is very much unique. So that's really all I gotta say, honestly. Like wherever he goes, I'm following his career. If he comes back, I hope so. Or if he goes to like AEW or Japan or Impact, like I'm following that career for sure. I'm following the career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's more coming, and there's going to be more surprise that we don't know about.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if there's more, and there's going to be like a bigger surprise than what we've heard to this point. And like I said, there was something. I know it hasn't. It's not listed, but there was a lot of people saying that, unconfirmed, obviously. There was a lot of people saying that Austin Theory was one. I've seen
I
nothing
probably
on it.
doubt it. I think people just want him released. I don't know why though. Cause I feel like Theory would have headlined it over Dakota, respectfully, of course. But obviously they do like them late
Yeah,
night ones. They'll do some late night ones, and then when we wake up, there'll probably be more. But
probably.
yeah, cause not gonna lie, if I see Theory released, then I mean, hey, we got a whole different story to talk about. Because if you want to talk about wasted potential, oh, hey,
Yeah, because I think a lot of people were thinking like with where he's at now. I mean, they're wasting him now as it is.
yeah,
Um, but like a lot of people were talking like he would be the perfect fit for Rollins' group because
yeah,
how
shoot,
young
shoot,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah, like Rollins group. Hell, even John Cena, if you want to like make it come full circle, like oh maybe Cena could have seen the potential in Theory after he wrestled him, and it was like you know what, if I had to pass the reins to somebody else that could somewhat maybe be just as hateable as I am right now, it'd probably be you. You know, I feel like he'd be a really
But
good
then
face.
again, he was one of those like handpicked by Vince guys, and you know,
It's like he was handpicked by Vince, but he has a Triple H mold as far as like his in ring work is phenomenal. Like he can go if they actually like outside of them changing his finisher because Ataxia is way better than the A Town down or whatever they call it. I forgot what he calls that freaking
he
elevated.
got down.
Yeah, like Ataxia looks so much better. I get he can't do it to bigger people like every single time, but I mean he could like A Town down could be an alternate, but his main finisher should have been like Ataxia, like the inverted facebuster he uses as a signature. Like that's a finish to me. I'm sorry. I hate seeing people kick out of that move. That move's too dang cold to be a signature move, like for everybody. But yeah, what's next? Gallus. Or Wolfgang, Mark and Joe Coffee Brothers. Um Once again, revisionist history. NXT UK, they were a part of that. Granted, they did have a little bit of a hiccup in the NXT UK period because of the speaking out movement. I do believe Wolfgang was caught up in that. Maybe Joe as well. I can't recall. But obviously, some things get cleared up and moved on from. But as far as their NXT UK run, they were Wolfgang and Mark were the longest reigning tag team champions in the UK. Um, and Joe Coffey fought
Yeah.
Gunther on one of the takeovers for the UK. So they had promise for the group. They had been in NXT for the past few years now. Not really sure why they never got called up because they were definitely some of the more main roster ready talent. And then they were in Evolve, which once again to my point, why are they not on the main roster? You know, Raw needed tag teams. Why are they not
Yep.
on Raw? It's
I honestly don't know.
it's very unfortunate to be honest.
It's sort of a vicious cycle. You just keep signing people and signing people and signing people, and then you got to a point where you just got nothing to do with them, and then you got to let people go.
Yeah, it's
That seems
like
like
the ebb and flow of the situation, which is why I kind of at a certain point the same way it is for AEW because like both companies aren't exempt. They can't sign everybody, and I feel like everybody
yeah.
is now kind of starting to understand that because when you see releases and you're like, oh, these guys are good. What the fuck? That's why because the same way we can sit here and say, oh, in certain instances, we can say some of these guys are great, exceptional. We can also say that about 95% of the guys that probably haven't even either showed up on TV yet or are on TV every single week that we see on a day-to-day basis. So it's a very, 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 very tough cycle. But yeah. But as of now, like there's been no other names added. It's just the list that currently we're looking at, essentially.
For now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like one of these was missing one. I just had to add that to mine. Um. So Cora Jade. Um. She's another one that I can only really say maybe from an injury standpoint they cut her. But other than that, I
Likely.
mean, she was still young. Like I think she's like around the same age as Roxanne, like 23, 24 at the
25.
latest, I think.
Yeah,
Like they're still very young, so she has time to, find herself and come back, which I feel like eventually like
probably. Probably.
they put a lot of stock into her. Obviously Punk's probably gonna vouch for them to bring her back if she's putting in the work on the independent circuit, I would probably assume. Um I feel like now that I think about it, this might be a voluntary one because her impact work was way better. If I'm being completely honest, her work in Impact was a lot better than what they were giving her at NXT. She had a match with Masha. Maybe this could have been her way of getting to Impact, like for a full time thing, not like a NXT stint.
Okay. I mean, I can see it.
Yeah. So I can try to find a bright side in it, you know. But yeah, it's a very much an interesting one because then it was kind of weird too when they kind of had Roxanne and Julia paired off because it kind of like even though I like the pairing now, I mean they kind of work well together, better than I thought they would. But the pairing kind of
For
just
sure.
seemed the pairing kind of seemed thrown together initially. But if their plan was to get rid of Cora, then I mean I guess it was foreshadowing.
Plus, with Julia's new look.
Oh yeah, the heel look. Ironically enough, colored hair. Like, similar bag, I guess, but yeah. I definitely think her and Gigi have like prove it releases, or if they do come back on a new deal, they'll pick up where they left off. But definitely prove it releases. See, Riley Osborne. I think he's married to. I think he's married to Blair Davenport. I think, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Yeah, if I can remember correctly, he's married to Blair. Another NXT UK guy had the Chase U run before in storyline. They got rid of Chase U. Once again, was in Evolve, same as Oro and Javier Bernal, and he's kind of a weird one because wrestling wise, obviously he has it, but character wise, it's probably one of the ones where they were like they didn't really know like what his character could possibly pertain to. So I mean, if he's one of them guys that's like, I'm a wrestler, they could have just been like, oh well, we can probably drop him, respectfully, of course, because I mean they want both. Like they want the character and then they want the work that comes with the character. But that's all I can really think of for that one.
Eh, trim the fat. I guess. I this is just. I'm still kind of processing that they just randomly did this today.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like there's more to go. And honestly, I there I'm if there's more, I'm thinking of three names that would probably shock a lot of people, but I can honestly see it.
Hmm.
Theory, Waller, and Mia.
Well, Waller just did promo work for Perth. So if anything, it would be surprising if they dropped Waller. But yeah, Waller just did a promo thing for Perth.
Yeah,
So
but you know damn well he ain't gonna. You know damn well he ain't gonna get no PLE match in Australia just because he did promo work for
he might
announcing
fit.
that they're
I
doing the
mean,
whole crown
it,
jewel there.
I think he did get. I mean, he was on it. I think he got like a Waller effect or something like that when they went to Perth.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had to think about it, like if they release Theory, they probably aren't gonna. If they release both of them, then at that point, like realistically, you're basically giving away like if people wanted to, you're giving away one of like the better tag teams they have for free. Not for free, but like giving up Theory, I get it. But if you give up Theory and Waller, it's like,
Well, they're not. They're. I mean, are they really being used other than like as like brief cannon fodder here and there? Like,
realistically, like there's a lot of guys on the roster right now that we can kind of say the same thing for. Like as far as like Alpha Academy, like Akira Tozawa has been there for like respectfully, he's been there for like at least the better part of a decade, or at least maybe half a decade, and he doesn't do anything, and they still don't cut him. So it's like
well, I mean, that could be a possibility too.
they would have done it. I feel like they would have done it by now. Like some of them guys, it's like they've been there for so long. It's like with all the
That's
budget,
true.
with all the cuts they keep avoiding, and I'm not saying I want them to lose their job, but it's like Akira Tozawa could have definitely been thrown in the mix by now if they really were like adamant on getting rid of some of the guys that they don't really use as much. But because they still have to think about their future, essentially. So it's like that's why I'm thinking like anybody that's like around like 24 or below, I don't think they really want to release them unless they have to. Which in my case, I would definitely do the same thing because that talent is going to get swooped up by somebody. And if they get swooped up by somebody, they're going to work there. Like, not just working as far as wrestling, but they're going to work there as far as, like, they might get over. They might build a rapport. And then if you bring them back, then it's like, okay, well, now we're just going to, like, force everybody upwards instead of just building them when I add them.
Well, they've done it many times before, so
Yeah. Not saying it's out of the realm of reality, but I mean, I will say, like, with some of the releases being shocking, I will say they don't release many people that they've done at least somewhat notable things. Not all the time. Like Braun, of course, is an exception as of late, but shoot, maybe even Alistair, to be honest, because I mean they released him in the middle of the with the first time he was there, they released him during his whole open door thing, and he almost got a match with Randy Orton. So it could be possible.
Sure. This could be the calm before the storm tonight.
Yeah. Plus, I even seen something with I guess it was like from Sean Ross where it was like, if Triple H wanted to keep talent, they'd still be there, and I feel like that's probably that's like a real like fine way to put it. I mean, hey, if he wanted them there, they would still be signed. If he wanted them to prove themselves, which I feel like most of them are prove it releases. Because some guys are bad while they're there, or they lose themselves, they get comfortable, and sometimes they got to get released to get back in the gym, hit the ground running, and really like show why they deserve to be there in the first place. So, but I guess there's like one last name of note that kind of could have got mixed up with the other one, but like we got Jakara Jackson. As far as like right now, that's the last name to be released. At least that we know at this point currently.
Yeah.
Same thing as Oro to me. Like untapped
I don't get it.
potential.
I don't get that. I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't.
They probably should have won a Stand to Deliver. Honestly, in my opinion, they deserved it. Then they broke up the group, which obviously kind of foreshadows that. Like, okay, we're focusing more on Lash and Noam. Which, I mean, fair. But, I don't know. If I had to guess, low key, probably from an NXT perspective, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nikita. Even though Nikita just got sent to Evolve, you know how they do these things. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nikita, as much as I wouldn't want to see her released either. Um, maybe even not Ridge, but like there's probably a couple names that could float around to be like, okay, like we really ain't doing nothing with them, or maybe they got complacent. Let's drop them. See what the next move would be. Uh, it could be.
That's the irony of it. Like they take people that they're using and seem to be over and get cut, and then you've got people like that aren't really
Yeah,
doing anything but kept.
yeah, like for
Like
shelving purposes.
as good as he is in the ring, like Apollo Crews is still employed, but you're cutting people that like are getting regular TV time, even on NXT, and it's like, what?
Yeah, yeah, respect to Apollo Crews, because I mean, shoot, he's another one where it's like, why even bring him back? Because he was released too. Like, why even bring him back if they're just sitting and catering? Like
Yeah,
the money ain't that good to most of these guys that came up as being wrestlers, working for $20. Like, bro, the money is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, they made it, but I don't think it's enough to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting paid, so I don't give a fuck about wrestling. I don't think that's ever going to be the case for most of these guys and women.
no,
Like, in the case of like, I'm trying to figure out what's another thing or an example, I guess. I kind of lost my train of thought when I said that last part. Oh, Ricochet. That's what it was. Remember seeing that Ricochet tweet where he basically said that he left because they killed his love for wrestling, and basically being with the other company kind of like brought his love for like wrestling in the ring back.
I think I did. Yeah,
Yeah, as corny as it sounds, I can't blame him because the
no,
WWE wasn't doing shit with him. And it's like in AEW, he might be doing some comedy shit on the side, but at the end of the day, he's wrestling. So I mean, hey, like some of these guys, it's just about wrestling for them, and that's the side of the coin that a lot of people seem to forget. People want to be in WWE. Don't get me wrong. Like childhood wise, hell, even I did. You know,
sure,
like a lot of people want to be in WWE, but if once you work, some guys just want to be wrestlers, or they get enthralled with the idea of being a wrestler and working on shows and planning matches and working on move sets. They get enthralled with that to where now it's like, well, shit, I'm a wrestler. Fuck this entertainer shit. I'm trying to wrestle. I can entertain people with these grabs. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, but yeah. Any closing remarks we got before cause we're probably gonna have to spin back if they release more later in the day. So
yeah, we can do. We can go. We can come back, like do like
little
a
part two
rant on
joint.
it if there's more. Yeah,
Yeah, or if the people that we think are gonna be released to get cut, boy oh boy, are we gonna have a field day.
yeah, or somebody we don't expect or can't think
Yeah,
of.
yeah, because I mean, obviously, like there's a lot of guys that contracts are on the expiration. You know, Scarlett and Karrion Cross's contracts are soon to expire.
Yep.
Their decision will eventually be made, probably before the end of this month, potentially. There could be a lot of shakeups, a lot of turnover in the company if, at this current moment, the things keep going the way they're going.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah. This could be a lot wilder than we're used to.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I think that kind
Only
of
Tony
wraps it.
Khan,
Oh,
only Tony Khan would do the same damn thing. There you go.
I mean, with Khan it's a little bit different because I mean they can work the indies. Like they can be upset if they're not on TV, but I mean they can work other places. It's like
Yeah,
with
but he's got like 200 wrestlers on that damn roster and like no TV.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy in theory, but I mean, and plus most of them are kind of leaving slowly but surely. Because I mean, granted, with AEW, most of those guys are they're kind of WWE guys anyway. To be fair, like Ethan Page should have been with WWE. Ricky Saints should have been there off the rip. Sean Spears, I mean, he was already there in the past. So Cody,
Yeah,
reputable.
but then you let a gold like a golden ticket like Mariah May walk. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, they wanted to bring her back. Trust me. They're working to bring her back because I think more or less like the only reason she's gone is because of the way they booked the Tony Storm thing is probably the only reason she wants to leave, and I don't blame her because that match should have probably main evented the card that they
Oh,
were
for
on
sure,
because of,
absolutely.
yeah, like that was one of the cases where it's like for as bloody and as good as it was, they were like what first, second on the card, maybe third, mid. I don't know where
Something
they
like
were.
that. It was
Yeah,
like, yeah, it was like a Hollywood type thing. They were in LA.
yeah,
That absolutely should have main evented the show
exactly.
without question.
Like name and everything, it should have main evented. So at that point, like if they had to leave because of that, I can't blame her. It's not like they didn't use her, right? She was champion for a good portion of like the last 2 years. So I mean, but that and then plus she's a hot commodity. Mariah May is that's somebody
Good.
WWE. Yeah, like yeah, if they could have her for the next 5 years, they'll take it in a heartbeat. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, and then, at least in the AW's case, I mean, a lot of them guys can go to Japan. They can go to Mexico. They can do stuff. It's just they are oversaturated for sure. Like very much oversaturated. But
You know.
at least they can leave to some extent, a little tiny extent. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up for this little kind of like brief live stream. We wanted to do something with that Friday Saturday like time frame because we didn't get to SmackDown. We'll get to it next week because we will hopefully knock on wood. I won't have like a tiring day and we can actually get the trifecta
And
because I
so like I said, it's a
it happens.
PLE go home show.
Yeah,
So it could be an all hands on deck type of a show. I don't know exactly where the show is. Oh, Dayton, I think.
yeah, might not be
So,
that good.
Dayton's usually could be a good crowd.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
And Cena's gonna be on the show. So I mean,
yeah,
there's at least one thing we know will be quality.
but yeah, of note. But yeah, I don't know where I was at. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like we said, next week it is a go home week. We'll go home show week. Monday. I don't know where that Monday. Where that Monday?
Omaha.
Oh, Omaha. God dang, I forgot this is like the Midwest type of
Yeah.
area. So yeah, so
And
no.
Omaha and Dayton aren't bad towns. It's just they you're not gonna get like 16,000 people,
Yeah,
but they're not getting.
yeah, they don't have like big stadiums in those like rural areas for the most part.
No, I mean the Dayton Arena. You could probably do 13, 14, maybe. I don't know about Omaha, but I mean, like come on, the Kansas City crowd was terrible on Monday at times, but when they were loud, they were loud, and that was only like 11,000 to change. So
Yeah,
it's not necessarily like the crowd itself is just are they hot for what's going on, and like Kansas City on Monday was not hot enough, often enough, you know, relative to their size. And like I said, tonight's crowd in Des Moines, it wasn't a tiny ass crowd. It was probably 10, 11,000 people,
yeah,
and maybe half of them were like verbally involved in the show. The rest, everybody just kind of sat on their hands and didn't make a lot of noise for much of anything, except for honestly, except for LA Knight, a little bit of Tiffany Stratton, a little bit for Jacob, and then like half the crowd saying Randy Orton's theme. That was like basically the noise of the night. Other than that, they kind of sat on their hands. They were damn near. They were like crickets for like half the show. It's like you're getting WWE, which I know Des Moines. I'm not no hate on the city, but like if you don't get it very often, I would think you'd be kind of rabid to have it, and they were just like,
Yeah, could be one of those type of things. What the fuck, bro? Twitter is so ass. Like, I'm gonna screenshot this and like at least don't address it out loud because it's very much like very insensitive. But it's like, why the fuck is this a thing? Like, who tweets this out? This is insane. Like, I just saw that like on a random scroll.
oh,
Like, what the
I guess
fuck?
I guess part of the like on a going back to earlier like the trending thing.
Uh huh.
Apparently, I got another message, and I guess relative to the size of our channel and like normally how we do, um, it's part of it's because relative to the size of our channel, we've had 1,000 views of some kind in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like I don't know if that means channel views or like people are actually coming to the channel to view it. So the algorithm's reading it as like, oh well,
Could be a mix.
we're
If I had to assume, probably could be a mix.
hey, no hate. I ain't
Yeah.
complaining.
But yeah. If anything,
What the
that
hell?
kind of what happened? Oh, you seen it? Yeah. Like that's crazy, right? Like that's very that's insensitive to the situation that they got going on. That's some crazy shit.
What the hell?
Shit's crazy. Insane.
GG.
And you ain't alright. Anyway.
I
Anyway,
didn't say a word. I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word. I just said GG.
but I know. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, I mean, the poll was there. I would say GG.
What the fuck? Anyway, that wraps us up for now. We'll probably be back
That does
later.
not count as sus or gooning because
Oh,
nobody knows
they
what
don't.
we're talking about.
I mean, they don't know, but trust me, if y'all knew.
Oh, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was like, oh, of the 4 wrestlers that were released, which one would you want to bang the most? It wasn't that kind of a poll.
Bro.
I'm just saying, it wasn't. It was just a poll. Not about that. It just was a poll, but about something non WWE related. I gave my answer. So, GG. I mean, if I had to, if you're picking one, if you come on, pick one. If you had to pick one, who would it be? If all 4 of them did it, which one would you be inclined to look?
I'm not answering that with my camera on, dog. I'm not answering that.
That is why.
I'm not answering that with my camera on, dog. I'm not doing that.
That is crazy. Why?
I'm trying to get a working deal in this.
We're literally not being specific. Just answer the poll question. That's all. It's a random poll. Nobody knows what we're talking about. It's a random poll. Just pick one.
Fuck no.
I see.
With the camera on. With the camera on.
You want to play the straight man right now, and I get to be like the dirty old man, okay? But even though nobody knows what the hell we're talking about, and it's just a poll, I'm just saying.
Hey, you chose to answer it. I didn't. I was like, damn, that's crazy. You gave a name.
Well, I'm not saying she's doing anything, or that if she did it, I'm first in line. I'm just saying if I had to pick amongst the 4,
you picked the one that's married.
I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, that's what really threw me off. So I'm like, you picked the one that's married on top of that. Like,
Well, yeah, but based on what the poll is about, it doesn't necessarily imply it has to be something like horrid or uh, let's use something more like that's a wrestling kind of a term, like extreme. It doesn't imply extreme. It could just be, not so much extreme. But if you're going to view something of that nature, not extreme, and then amongst the choices, if I was going to look, I would pick Gigi. Doesn't mean I would.
yeah, I got some stuff to edit.
Okay, fine.
I got some
That's
stuff.
fine.
I got some stuff to edit.
Edit what?
I
There's
got some.
nothing.
I got some
I
stuff
did
to
not say.
edit.
I did not say anything other than there was a poll, and I said I picked Gigi. That's it.
Holy shit. But I appreciate it that stop by for this little impromptu stream. We did get a sub, by the way. Shout out to them for the sub. Greatly appreciated. The conversations in chat. Depending on what happens later on with the releases, if there's any more, we will be back. No problem, no doubt about that. Like we said, next week it is like not like maybe, well, all hands on deck as far as for WWE, but I mean it is a 3 show week, so hopefully we'll be back to regular
It
schedule
might.
programming.
It might because of a PLE. It might be all hands on deck for both shows.
Yeah,
Although it's the
potentially.
PLE. Although the PLE itself is not on paper looking like one that's going to be like, oh wow, that was really good. I don't know.
But again, I go. Those are the ones that usually end up being good when like I feel like the ones that like have expectations are like the ones that like disappoint the most, at least in
Or
some
at least
cases.
better than, expected because you go in with low expectations, and that's kind of what I'm going to do here.
Yeah, different levels of interpretation. But yeah, Monday.
I
Mhm.
I think the U.S. title match probably could be a banger if they get the time, and certainly.
They probably might, depending on like what the card looks like. If I could assume.
Well, I mean, if you go normal 3 hour and you only got 5 matches, you can give them 25 to 30 if you want.
Yeah, there's probably a few matches on that card that really don't, seem like
Well,
it would be that
okay,
crazy.
Cena Orton, Becky Lyra, Gunther McAfee, uh, the U.S. title match, the Fatal 4 Way. What's the fifth? What am I missing?
What, Cena and Orton?
I got that. Cena Orton, the Fatal 4 Way U.S. title match, um, Becky Lyra, and Gunther Pat McAfee. What's the fifth?
I don't think they confirmed it yet. If anything, I've had to assume probably the women's championship matches will get added to make it probably a seven match card. Because Io's not on it and Tiffany's not on it at this current moment. So at least I would
Yeah, but I
assume
thought
they
there
would
were
give
five.
them
I thought there
something.
were 5 matches. I thought there were 5 matches now after tonight, and I'm missing. I'm brain farting on one. I feel like.
I probably have to check. Uh,
Oh, Jay and Logan.
Jay and Logan. Okay, yeah, yeah. They could definitely probably add the women to that card if I had to assume what they would probably add.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes with the smaller PLEs, Triple H only does 5 matches.
Yeah, it would depend though, because I mean I ain't gonna lie. I feel like after their performances, it would be hard to kind of like. For Io, she was like really good in her performance, and then Tiffany like it might have a sour taste in people's mouth as far as like her reign as a whole. I would book them, but I mean I don't know. I would book them.
But then again, I guess looking at it a different way, like if Gunther and McAfee's not going to be a very long match, Cena and Orton's not going to be a half an hour. So there's time you could put a 6 match on there.
Yeah, at minimum, maybe not 7, but they could probably fit a 6th.
Not probably not 7, but maybe 6, because those 2 matches are not going to be very long. I don't see how they could even stretch Cena and Orton to like 20.
Yeah.
It's not Orton, it's Cena. I just don't. I don't see it.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I
probably
guess they
both of them.
could.
Trust me, because I don't think Orton's cooking for 30 minutes. At
I
least,
mean,
or at least not without you thinking like, damn, his back is actually cooked again, like the Gunther match, which could be a selling thing.
well, I
But
think it would depend on the flow. I think it would depend on the opponent and the flow of the match. But if with Cena, I don't. I don't see it without like a stipulation, or are we gonna get some like screwy finish?
oh, for sure,
Please God, not
for
Travis
sure.
Scott.
Well,
But like,
I think Travis might be banned. At least I've seen something where it's like Travis might be banned from Backlash. At least quote
but
unquote he'll be
like,
banned, but Triple H can.
but
The
still,
Rock can let him
that's
know.
not gonna be. But that's not gonna be super long. Gunther and Pat McAfee isn't gonna be super long, and if it's more than 10 minutes, they're fucking up.
Shit, I'm taking it. Pause.
And then don't forget that is something else we can do this week.
Oh, predictions, yeah, because we have not done that. So like, whenever the card is completely finalized, we can do that. If it's not
Well,
by like next Monday, then
it
yeah.
depends. If they add say they add a women's title match the night before.
Yeah, that'll be a spur of the moment thing. We just add that while we're there.
Yeah.
Who wins, whatever. So.
Right, but based on what the card is now, we can do a prediction video during this week, and then that's an extra.
Yeah, another sizable one to do. So, but yeah, appreciate everybody
And
that
then
stopped by.
obviously,
Order my whip.
and then we're gonna have because then we're gonna have Friday, and then we're gonna do
Saturday.
the PLE watch along. So that's at least
That's 3
that's a
uploads.
nice. That's a nice.
Well, basically 4.
Yeah, it's a nice. Yeah.
Yeah, giving the meat.
Oh, okay, but I say the name Gigi. I say the name Gigi, and I'm on like demon time. But
Nah, you knew what you did. You knew what you did.
I didn't say.
I wasn't worried about Gigi's name. It was the context of what her name was called out
yes,
for.
but it's not like the poll was on the screen here and what the poll said or anything like that. And
you want me to show?
I don't care.
Hey,
I don't care. Go ahead. Ain't no shame in my game, brother. I'm not married. All it was a poll question, and I answered. That's it. It's not like I said anything freaky. Or I'm like, oh God, me and Gigi in a locker room, bring out the fucking trapeze and the chimps. Like we're gonna get. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a poll. I answered it. That's it, bro. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the color commentary thing might be you. I'm not gonna lie. That like the more I'm thinking about it, it might be you. It might be. The more I thought about it, I'm like low key, like.
I'm channeling my inner Jerry Lawler from the mid to late 90s.
I was just gonna say like some Jerry Lawler vibe.
Attitude era Jerry Lawler going on here.
Good lord.
Puppies.
But,
HLA.
HLA. But yeah, appreciate everybody to stop by. I done probably did this a couple times. But yeah. If you want to subscribe. You know, greatly appreciate it. Like we said, 500 to infinity and beyond. My PlayStation is bugging right now. I am highly confused. But yeah, let's get to 500. We are at 301 currently. Greatly appreciative of that. We appreciate every single one of you guys.
Yep.
Also, like the stream, revisionist history, or if you're still in here watching, we did get to 4. I'm happy with that though. 4 is 4. 4 is a lucky number for some people, or an angel number. If you're into that stuff.
Or the number of people, in the poll I answered.
Good God. Oh, okay. It was 4.
Hey, man, look,
it was 4 though. It was 4.
look, man, it's like it's 2 o'clock in the morning, basically. I'm hungry.
Yeah, Terry, he's a wildin'. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's up with
I
him.
didn't. What? I didn't even say anything freaky, man.
Oh god.
I'm saying it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm hungry.
Yeah, you're hungry,
I
all
just
right.
answered the phone. I just answered the. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh god. Oh god. But yeah, let me cut this before something happens that we might regret. Uh yeah. See you guys later. Appreciate everybody to stop by. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you guys come across it. Social medias are, where's my finger? I can't find it. All right, right here under me and on the other side right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pointing down. Yep.
And yeah, we will see you guys probably later today because there's probably gonna be more releases. So be on the lookout
Probably.
for that. And yeah, peace.